YouTube. This video is going to be about the water change in the Boyu TL450 marine aquarium, and we will talk about briefly why we do the water change, the benefits for it, why it's essential, and also I'll show you how to do it. So the main reason we do a water change is simply to keep the quality of the water at the healthiest level we can do. The water change will replenish your minerals, your irons, calciums, magnesium levels in your water. It will keep your pH level balanced, removes nitrates, it removes toxins, and basically reoxygenates the water and freshens up the health of your water. I mean, that's important to do, because if you didn't do that, what you'd find is after a few months of not doing any water changes, your corals would start to die. Your fish would start to pick up disease like white spot and fin rot. The colour of the fishes would deteriorate, and the quality of your aquarium would look dirty and grubby. So by doing a water change, we're basically freshening up the water, making it much more healthy, which will keep everything in it healthy as well. I recommend we do a water change sort of every 10 days to 2 weeks for an aquarium of this size. There's nothing wrong with doing one weekly. I wouldn't do them any more regular than every week. That should be enough. I do them every 10 days, and I take out anything from 20 to 25% of the water, and obviously replace it with fresh salt water. So what we'll need to do is we'll get a bucket that we're going to siphon the water into. You'll need some sort of hose to act as a siphon. We'll get the hydrometer that will test the salt levels once we're doing the water change. I'm generally going to give it a clean up. Got my aquarium cleaner. I bought a toothbrush that's good at cleaning your power heads and areas that your marine cleaner can't get to. And the turkey blaster is always a good piece of kit to use in your aquarium. Not just for cleaning purposes, but for assisting your corals with shredding and things like that. So to work out then how much is 25% or 20% in these aquariums, you simply measure your aquarium depth. The depth of this aquarium is about 32 centimetres, so 25% or a quarter of 32 centimetres is 8 centimetres. So all you do is you measure 8 centimetres down, which will probably come to about here, and that's how much water you'll take out. Hopefully water will just cover this coral. I don't want to take it any lower than that, otherwise I'm going to have to move the coral down to the bottom whilst I do the water change, but luckily for me 8 centimetres will just come just above there. So I'm going to turn everything off. I'm going to turn my pumps off, the skimmer off and everything like that, and I'm also going to close the slats on the filter, these here. Because not only am I going to do a water change, but I'm going to be taking out the filter pads, the bio balls, and the ceramic tiles and balls in there. So I'm going to be giving everything a quick clean, and I'll show you how and why we do that. It's basically just to keep your aquarium as healthy and as clean as possible. So bear with me. I'll just take the lid off, and we'll start siphoning the water out. Right, so I've turned everything off. The only thing I've kept on is the aquarium light, because that'll help me when I'm doing a bit of cleaning. So what you do, how to siphon is you put one part of the tube into your tank, leave the other in there, and what you need to do is just suck on the bottom of that just for literally a second, and the water will start flowing out. I'm going to need both hands to do that, so I'll just start that process. I'll bring it down to the 8 centimetre level, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Coming out now, you can see it rapidly coming out of there, and it's siphoning into the bottom of here. Just keep an eye on that, obviously, to make sure no fish or anything swim up near it, because you don't want them getting sucked up in there. So I'm just going to wait for this level to get down to the 8 centimetres, which is going to be just above that coral. And then once I've done that, I will be taking out the filter pads, the skimmer pot, the ceramic rings and the bio balls, and just give them a quick clean into this water. So we're just about there, so I'll come back to you. So that's it, 8 centimetres out, so there's about 20%, 25% in here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start taking out the filter components and give them a quick clean. Take that off. Take the bio balls out, put them in. And as you can see, I don't know, that one's not too great, but for example, you can see there all that gunk that's on there, so that's why it's important to give them a quick clean. But we don't want to clean them too heavily because that will remove our friendly bacteria. So I'm going to take the pads out. Just be careful when you're taking out these filter pads because you don't want any of your dirty water going into the aquarium. Now I'm going to need 2 hands to take those out, so I'll just come back to you in another minute. Right, so I've got all my components out and they're now in here. Now I'm not going to go mad because the ceramic rings and the filter pads have in them the friendly bacteria that's part of the nitrogen cycle that obviously breaks down your ammonia levels and your nitrate levels. So all we're going to simply do is we're just giving them a quick clean up. So it's a simple case of your tiles, give them a quick shake. That's all you're going to do with them, just to get off any loose bits of debris, and then you're going to put it back in. You're going to do exactly the same with the filters. All you're going to do with your filter pads, give them a quick shake in the water, drain them out, and then put them back in. That's the amount of cleaning you want to do with them. You don't want to go too mad because you're going to lose your friendly bacteria that's stored up in these that helps your system. So I'm going to do all that. I'm going to do it with every piece I've taken out and put it straight back in, and then we'll have the new water. Right, and that part's done. I've given my filter pads and my other components a quick clean, and I've put them back. And all I've done is give them a quick rinse. That's all I've done. I've not gone mad. A quick rinse in the water you've taken out, and that's the result of it. It's gone like a dirty brown. So you can see that's removed quite a bit of waste from my filter system. So it should work a lot better and a lot cleaner now. The reason why we don't go mad when we're cleaning them is, like I say, we don't want to remove the friendly elements that have built up in your filter pads. Because if you remember from the early videos, that stored friendly bacteria is essential in order to break down the ammonias and the nitrates in your aquarium. The reason why we wash them in the salt water is because, like I say, we still want to keep that friendly bacteria in our system. I would recommend only doing that once a month. You don't need to clean the filters every time you do a water change. Just clean the filter components once a month, because, like I say, we want to keep those working as efficiently as possible. And by doing them more often, all you're going to be doing is killing that friendly bacteria that your tank needs to have a healthy system. So I'm now going to put the new salt water in. The way I'm going to do that is just memorising the level of water in here. I'm going to go downstairs and gently warm the salt water before I put it back in the aquarium. Because if you just put 20% of freezing cold salt water now into here, it's going to make a big effect to the temperature of your water. So all I'm going to do is heat it in a pan just to take out the chill of it, fill this up with the warm salt water, and I'm going to pour it back into the aquarium. So I'll just go and do that, and then we should be done. Right, we're getting there now. So I've got my clean salt water. Like I say, it's just slightly warm. I've got a big pan and I just kept heating it up, just so I'm not putting freezing cold water into there. So I'm just going to siphon that back in now. That's the best way to put it back in, so hold on. So obviously when you're siphoning, the water's got to be higher from what you're siphoning into. So I'm just going to siphon this back into the tank, put it in carefully. I'll probably fill the back components up, get it up to a level I'm happy with, and then I'll just show you what we do at the end. To get less disturbance in your tank, I pour it straight into one of the components, and then it doesn't send your sand going everywhere or disturb your fish. Right, so what I've done is I've put the majority of the water back in. But what I have done is I've left a little gap, and about 3 or 4 centimetres short of how I'd want it filling. The reason I've done that is so we can measure the salt levels before we fully top up the aquarium. So what I'll do now is I'll just give the aquarium 5 minutes just to settle a little bit, because there's some dust floating about now from pouring the water back in and from doing the cleaning up. Then I'll turn everything back on. I'll let it run for maybe 20 minutes, turning all the system back on, the filter system. I'll let it run for about 20 minutes and then I'll test the salt levels using the hydrometer. Because then if the salt's a little bit too high, we can just top the rest up with raw water. Or if the salt is too low, then again we can top it up with salt water. So at least you've got a little bit of flexibility before you fully top up your aquarium to make sure you get the salt levels just right. So I'm going to give it 5 minutes and then I'll turn on the aquarium, let it run for 20 minutes, and then we'll test the water levels. Then we'll give the aquarium a clean and then it's all done. I left it 5 minutes, I've now turned everything back on. See, my fish are a little bit freaked out by all the activity going on, but it's not a problem. If they want clean water, they're going to have to deal with it. Like I say, I'm going to let everything mix now, let the new water mix with the old water, get the temperature, get into the right level. You will find you've got a little bit of debris floating about because obviously you've done a good clean. But whilst that is floating about, what I'm going to do now is, using my cleaners and whatnot, I'm going to give it a good clean, get all the rubbish off the glass. I'm going to give my power heads a clean and just basically clean it all up whilst it's already a bit cloudy, so it's all done at the right time. And then in about 20 minutes, once all the water's mixed properly, we'll test the levels of the water and see if we need to add more salt water or if we need to add some raw water. So I'll come back to you in about 20 minutes. Just quickly, once you've turned everything back on, don't forget to reopen these filter slats, because what you want to happen to now is, whilst you're giving it a good clean and whilst all that debris is floating about, obviously you want your filter to be fully open and working properly so it can start cleaning your tank up. So I'm currently still cleaning all the glass and the filter heads. Like I say, shortly we'll test the water and see if we need to add more salt. It's been running now for about 20 minutes, so I'm just going to test the salt levels and see if I need to make any adjustments. Let's get it up here a little bit. So it's a little bit high, is that? We really want it around about 30. 1.021 to 0.122, so it's a good job I left the water level a little bit low, because what I'll do now is I'll just remove a little bit of salt water, maybe half a centimetre, and then I'll top the rest up with raw water, and that should bring the salt level down to where I need it. So I will do that. I'll siphon out maybe half a centimetre and then I'll top it up right to the top with raw water, and that should bring the salt levels to the level I want them. Right, so I've topped up with raw water, took a bit of salt water out, and it's now reading just above 0.23. So the SG, specific gravity or salt meter, salt level, should be between 0.21 and 0.23. So again, it is bang on just below 0.23. So it's pretty much perfect, is that. But what I'll probably do is, in a couple of days, I'll test it again, because it might not have fully mixed properly in the aquarium, and adjust it if I need to do. So that sort of concludes this video. We've done a water change. I've given the filter components a quick clean. I hope it's been informative. Sorry it's a bit disjointed, but it's quite difficult when you're holding the camera in one hand and try to do it all, but hopefully it should help you. Again, any questions, let me know, and thank you for watching.